Hello, greetings from Potato Cam. How are we this Friday? I hope that you've had a wonderful week. I hope the world has brought you something good, and I'm really glad that you're here. So today we're going to scrapbook, and I'm going to answer a whole bunch of questions about different things. We are going to talk about details of the new class that starts next week called Just Joy, and we're going to talk about Christmas supplies, which are linked in the description box already, hashtag advertising, all of that. We're going to talk about what the Christmas class is and what the supplies are and how do you use the shopping list and how can you use your own stash and all of that sort of stuff. And I've got a mission today. I think Monday we are safe to say I can start with the new official shopping list stuff because I may have got super panicky about the fact that it's taking so long. It's in the country, but it's not here yet. So I may have gone to Paper Maze and ordered some stuff to be delivered to make sure that we can get it all done. So Monday we'll start with back to school stuff with that book fair collection. Let's admit that I'm taken with that just by the name because I love a book fair. But today we're going to look specifically at all the die cuts that have piled up from this year's kits because I have 3 different containers of them at least because I love putting a set of die cuts into a kit, but it's too many die cuts to use in 1 month. And then I end up with quite a surplus. So today, let's make a dent in that. And now you can all place your bet on how many I'll actually use, and you can laugh at me at the end when it's like 3 and I'm proud of that or something. Okay, that's the plan. Cool? Enough potato cam. Let's go to the desk. So far in September, we have made this. So we have this one that we started the month with, which is not the kit at all. It is every single American crafts collection I ever did, all on 1 page. And then we started on this one where we made a kit from stash based on the September shopping list. Yeah. And then finish that over the next live stream. So not the stuff that's on the shopping list, but similar to what we have there, but all stuff that I already had in my stash. So basically using old stash to come up with a similar kind of format. And then a little example of how I put the extra photos, the small stories, into the album. So just showing that with the extra supplies. And then we started this one, which it was a starting point to work with a starburst kind of paper where you are working out from the inside. So we're going to finish this one today. Remember, I have 2 3x4 photos to go on that one. And then we're going to start another one where I have a single photo from this week. And it's not a kid photo. You'll be happy to know. I took a picture of me and Cassie, and I'm going to scrapbook that. So we've got that. Then, why is there an album on your desk, Shimelle? Because this is to talk about class. So this album is sitting here with, let me take it on its side. These are the pages I have already made for quarter 2, my second album of the year. So that's April, May, and June. So these are all from videos I've already done. But they're sitting here like this so that I could make my plan of everything else that's going in there. So I now have my list of all the different topics, small stories, big stories, all of that that's going to go in there. And we can do a little bit of discussing what that means for the class content videos. That's everything. Is that all right? Okay, so we're going to start with this one. We're going to make sure we get some die cuts used on there. Going to put this to the side. And let's get started here. So this was our starting point from Monday. And you may have some papers where you could do something very similar like this. Auntie Caffeine says, my pages are looking very flat. I wouldn't say that they are because a lot of them still have thickers, but fewer Papios than I used to use because of how the album space was going. But a lot of them still have like 7 or 8 layers of paper. So they're not particularly super flat. Like when I go back to the pages I started with, those are really flat. Like they're just 2 layers of paper. And a lot of our pattern paper wasn't thick, it was thin. So yeah, a nice little mix. But I do get quite a few pages into my albums. 3 months per album is what I've been working with for the last few years, and it seems to work out well. So I end up with 4 albums per year. Right. So this is where we got to. 2 boxes, either side of an empty spot that's wherever the point in your starburst design is. And then this could be stickers. This is washi stickers in this case, or it could be, you know, border pieces, like those sorts of edges could work, either the straight or the fancy ones. It could be a border sticker. It could just be a scrap of paper. But you're working to create this box, and this bit being open is fine because that's where the photos are going to go, so it doesn't matter. Are we cool with that? Shall I do my speech and off we go? Hi! I can put you back on potato can to say hello. Hi, my name's Shimelle. I teach online scrapbooking classes, design scrapbooking products, and help you use them to tell your stories in a creative way. It's not just my hobby, it is my job, and that means anytime I scrapbook on the internet, it's considered advertising, and legally I need to make sure you're aware of that. So thank you for coming to watch my #advertising. I appreciate you being here, whether you are live, chatty, watch from Tomorrowland, quiet, crafty, not crafty, picking up a craft for the very first time. It's all good. And you can find all the links you're going to need in the description box below based on those things. So you'll find my new class and the Christmas bit at the very top. Then you'll find all the stuff about the online scrapbooking classes. Then you will find the products that I design and where you can buy them. And then you will find all about these Monday and Friday videos where I show you how to scrap. And, well, really, my classes are all teaching. And on Monday and Friday, we're chilling. So we get together, we craft, we chat about all sorts of things, scrapbooking related and not scrapbooking related, and we make stuff. You might make stuff at the same time as me, and you might follow along in live and just do the same stuff that I'm doing. That's amazing, but totally not how you have to follow. You can be doing your own scrapbooking so that it's like we're at a crop and you make something and I make something and we're chatting the whole time. Beautiful. And you might come back and just skip to the end and have a little look at what I made and then go away and make what you want to make and come back. Cool? All different ways you can work it, and you're super welcome no matter what your strategy is there. Okay, that's enough of my face on potato can. Let's scrapbook. We have got, oh, the Prima flowers. Yeah, Prima flowers are very dimensional. Yeah, I definitely have that era in my album. And it definitely meant that I couldn't put as many pages in an album. I have a finite amount of space. I can have 82 albums. That is it. I have 82 albums. So I have a continual process of going through older albums and saying, what can I condense down? What doesn't need a whole book on its own? So for example, the album that I have pulled to as my second quarter album did have the pages from the very first time we went to the Harry Potter studios. And then there was another album that had just pages for my brother and sister-in-law's wedding. Really, each one was about half an album. So currently they are now living in the same album so that I could free that one up. There's more than enough space in there for that. It's not the best theme match, but they are chronologically quite good. I'm thinking I may, for the next quarter, may go back and look. I also have an album that's just a friend's wedding, and I think it's probably half an album too. So I might put the 2 weddings in one album and then find something else to mix the Harry Potter tour in with something else. They're all at a similar point in the chronology. So I wouldn't mix like half an album from 2007 with half an album from 2021. But summer 2012 doesn't need 6 albums, which at one point it had. Summer 2012 was a big time in my life, gotta tell you. All right, so that's how I work with the idea of the dimension. Like I love, 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 love my layering, but I also don't love not having enough room for my layouts. So I am using fewer papios and trying to think of things like that. Nikki says, what will you do when your albums are full? Well, the process that I use, I'm nowhere near that, because I do go out and go, actually, this doesn't have any worth to me. Well, why do I have this one? So I do take things out. Also, this kind of goes on to something that Auntie Caffeine's talking about with a time capsule. I have a list. Let's just go straight in with the morbid this morning. It's my if I get hit by a bus list. It's a list of what I would suggest to the boys to keep, and if they want to keep more than that, that's fine. One of them will be like, no, it can all go tomorrow, and the other one will be like, no, don't get rid of any of it. And there needs to be a nice, easy spot in the middle. So that's what my list is for. I haven't revisited it in a little bit, so I should probably do that in the next 6 months or something. Go back and do that. Right. Photos. So these pictures are a little too big to work with exactly the composition I've made. So first thing I'm going to do is trim them down and then look at what my options are. But these are 2 3x4s on a 4x6, but with a little bit of a white border. Now, while I'm cutting those, there were some questions. Kirsty was looking at, she got £200 Amazon voucher for 20 years long service. Well done. Fancy buying a die cutting machine, not an electronic die cut machine, just like a manual die cutter for metal dies. Is that what you're thinking? You don't need to spend anywhere near $200 to get something like that. So that's good news. You could probably, it's Amazon money though. I was going to say, you could probably get, I don't think you'd have any trouble getting a secondhand electronic cutter for under $200, but then you're not looking at spending your Amazon money. So there we go. Georgia says she's going to get rid of her 12x12 post-bound albums. I plan to give some to nieces and nephews, scan and fave to make a printed book, and the rest in the bin. I'm running out of space, and those are not bringing me joy. Yeah. Right. So Kirsty says, oh, by the way, yeah, I have very little in the way of post-bound left. I think I have 3 12x12 post-bounds that are like they're less than half the width of my binders. But the reason those 3 have stayed is because they are like a complete story within each of those books. Nothing that I would move stuff around, nothing that I would be like, oh, actually I want to add this. So they've been fine to stay as they are, because there's no changing to be done. Where with the binders, I do mess stuff around, like reworking the summer of 2012. I still have the Olympic album, don't worry. It's not going anywhere. Right. Now, where is it? I have one piece of my hair has gone inside my glasses, and so it keeps getting stuck in my eyelashes. Okay, I got it. Oh my goodness. Sorry. I know you didn't need to know that, but it was driving me mad. Kirsty says yes to a manual die cutter. So, hold on. Let's look. What are the prices on things? Because I haven't bought one in a million years. Manual die cutting machines. There we go. Oh, wow. Yeah. So, I mean, they come as low as, like, there's a teeny tiny one for 26 pounds, and there's a teeny tiny one for 34. But there are full-size ones under 100. So you'd still have money to go elsewhere. The interesting bit is I'm scrolling down, and there are quite a few brands that I've never heard of. 136 for a brand that we've all heard of. I'm wondering if mine is even available on here. I'm going to look. Nope, we are makers. Or we Memory keepers. There it is. So I have the Revolution, and it is 104 pounds. You want me to give you a link that you don't have to use this, but if it's useful, then you might as well. So let me get you this link. Come on, get a link. Oh, why is that saying I'm on UK? Okay, now I'm really curious. So, okay, is this? I'm really curious if this link, so I have the Revolution by what was We Are Memory Keepers is now We Are Makers. So you kind of have to search for both. But that link is giving me, it's Amazon UK, but it's saying it's shipping from Amazon US. I don't know because my Amazon has been a bit funny since I was in the States. It gets really confused now that I'm like, no, I'm here. I'm actually in the UK. I was in the US for a week in May. I'm back here. I'm not moving back and forth. So see if it actually shows for you or if it says that it doesn't exist. Anyway, that is the one that I have, and I have no problems with it. It also works with the replacement mats from scrapbook.com, which are often freebies. So if it's ever a freebie when you do your order, add one, because then when you get to a point where it warps, you've got one ready to go. All right, back to the page. I think if I overlap this much, which I'm not losing any story value by overlapping there, I'm absolutely fine. I can see my turquoise, I can see the green. I'm not losing stuff there. So I'm not going to back them with more paper, which perhaps I would have if I hadn't done this as its starting point. But other than that, we are good. Place that one first. And then this one here. So the point that my starburst has gone to is now where the center of the focus is. So all of these starbursts are now leading lines to take you to the photos, right? And although I haven't put paper around them, they do have the white border, so that's separating them from all the layers in the background a little bit. Okay, die cuts. Today we want to use some die cuts. So we have got in this one, I've got a big set of Vicky die cuts that were in a kit. So let's start there. Then I have some of my own. Okay, if I put that too close, probably get a shadow. Okay, so this could work. Oh, I don't need to drop all these on here. Where can I put this so you can see what I'm flipping through in case you're like, no, use that one. So we got a big rainbow. We got some transparent pieces, binder clip. These could work out handy. Let's put those there to see how many I have. Paint, binder clip, little tab, but the color's not quite right on that one. Actually, I'm going to put that green book in. There's a story reason for a book that works. Not the right color. Oh my goodness, so many binder clips. I need a lesson on how to use binder clips. That one is so cute, and I never know when I'm going to use it. This one works well. This one could possibly work with the story. If that suited your story, that could work really cute. That could work really well and be really cute. That might work for something. We'll see what words we can put it with from the other die cuts too. These are really big. Potentially. I think that's a fair enough philosophy to have, Georgia. As long as you're aware of it, then it's fine, right? So Georgia says she's not really done a lot of investigation on the kind of page protector she uses because it's the creating that makes her happy and the storage and worrying about everything else doesn't. So I think fair enough to then just be like, you know what? They're in page protectors. That's better than nothing. It's fine. That one's quite pretty with this. I don't know that it kind of... We've got a lot of big pieces, so I don't know that it's going to work, but it doesn't not work, so I'm going to put that there. I've got 2 of these so far. I'm going to see if there happens to be a third one hiding in here, because that would be good. Yes, there is. So let's have 3. There we go. So we have 3 of those. Then we have... These are from Reasons to Smile. You could have a bit of wood grain. Books and balloons will leave. I have a gold label. Yes, Georgia, exactly that. Picking your battles. I think that is absolutely a fine strategy. That's a nice match to that sticker, so we'll have that little tag, little label. Can have some little phrases here. We'll see what works. Is that the same color? Yeah, so we could have 2 spots of that same peachy color. And I had pulled out a bit of wood grain there, so might as well have a second piece of wood grain. Oh, one of those. Oh, and a heart. Okay, we can have all that. I just realized, is this 2? We have 4. How funny. Not 5, just 4. Okay. A lot of the peach pieces. Can't imagine that I would do such a thing. Right, so let's pop all of these back in the jar because these are the nose. And then I've got 2 more things we're going to go through because I have these from Live the Dream. I mean, to be fair, the shoes actually work this time. Gummy bears, lightning, glosses, snacks. None of these are particularly relevant. What was this wording? Yay. Smile. Okay, I think this just isn't the right collection to match for most of it, but there's some peach words coming up. Show. Is it time? Okay. If it fit your story, that would totally work. Coloring wise, gorgeous, but the number of times I can use that phrase, and this is not the one. So, no to the Live the Dream die cut pack. And the other one I had to look at here was, oh, I have 2 here. What? See, I have too many. Too many die cuts hanging out. All right, so we have this and this. So this one is words. A lot of words in this one too, though. Stop. Okay, thank you. So these are a lot brighter than this collection. It's still Vicky, but everything here is in really bright tones. So like this one works, but the yellows are really bright. More birds. So So I think a bit like Live the Dream, this one is not going to be the happy match to the background, although that's quite nice. Let's put that in as a maybe. And what do we have in the frames here? That one. Got a little scrap of wood grain here too, so let's have that. Okay. And then we can look at the words as we get going. What's that? There. Now, does this count as making a dent? Let's find out. And Georgia says that scrapbooking is the longest hobby she's ever had. So she just takes the pressure off so she doesn't lose interest and follow ADHD tendencies. But she has consistently been scrapping since 2012. Yeah, I mean, it's really funny because my closest group of friends that we're not close geographically, but we talk every day. And we all met because of scrapbooking, but I'm pretty much the only one who still scrapbooks. Although one of them did make a page last week and was like, I think I might want to do this again. And I was very excited to hear such a thing. That was lovely. So I have hope. But yeah, they've all super crafty, but they dart from craft to craft, where I have stayed with this craft for a huge number of years, 1998. But then I do the other crafts too. I do the other craft hopping, but around the one craft that I keep doing. So I can sew, I can knit, I cannot crochet. I've tried, no. I've done, bracelets and jewelry making. I do a bit of painting. The other day, WB asked me if I could do a page in his coloring book where he's using my alcohol markers, because there was a time when I was using alcohol markers all the time, and now it's not that. So I have said, you should use them, and it's working very well for him. But he asked me to do a page, and so I did a little drawing. That was lovely, fun, but not what I do all the time. Yeah. And Caroline wants to keep her album so that it can remind her of her life in case she goes gaga. And I think you are not alone in that feeling. Okay, I'm going to see if I can pop this frame behind there. And how is background noise going today? We've got the work outside is not too noisy at the moment, but we've got the work out there plus two of us on, well, he's on a call and I'm on here. So it's a bit of a challenge for the open plan when that happens. Right. Amity says her Oma had to mention love going through the albums and definitely helped her remember. I love that. Definitely. So I kind of like the idea of leaving a bit of that frame open, which I don't normally do. But I want to today. But I don't want those two things even there, so it either needs to come up or down. Up. Oh, okay. No outside noise today, and the inside noise isn't too distracting. That is great to hear. Okay, so if we're going to do a whole bunch of die cuts, so that was one, whoever's keeping track, one. We need usually to start with the biggest pieces and work down to the smaller ones. Otherwise, you don't end up with room to put the bigger ones on in the end, okay? So I am going to go ahead and use this one, and I'm just going to look at the color wheel that goes around and figure out which shades are most present here. So I don't have a purple, so I'd like to hide the purple and keep these colors, which are mostly appearing there. Now, also, you could cut this so that you could use it again later. But did you just see me go through all those die cuts? I think I just need to use and not worry about saving right now. So we're going to do that. Then other round pieces. So match shapes that you've used. I've just used one big circle, so let's pull out everything else, not these tiny circles, but everything else in this main pile here that is a circle to decide what might, so I only have those other two. So I could go up or here. I'm losing this turquoise that I wanted to frame though. So I could bring something down here. I'm not sure I want this phrasing when it's an I, and I kind of want the journaling to be about the two of them. So let's set that one aside. We're on 2 die cuts, by the way. So this one works better. So let's look at the shapes on a diagonal line. So either putting them next to each other, so I could come up here, but I kind of want to tuck it in. So it would probably be there, which means I only have this little bit left here. We'll see if that is going to count. But bringing it across the diagonal here then also gives me a nice composition. Okay. Jean says you could count the ones you already have on the page. I could, but I didn't use any die cuts. So I've got 3 stickers and scraps of paper. That's a cut apart washi. I don't have any die cuts from the first day. Yeah. So we're on 2 die cuts. This will make 3. So let's bring it all the way underneath here. Do I like that better? I don't know that I do. Here. And see how this ends up a nice color match. This green, that green, that green. So I know you could put it under here so that the corner comes out further to the right, but I'd rather soften that diagonal line and have it look less like a wheel holding that up. So here we go. And Nikki has known somebody who cuts all their paper so they could reuse it, but they had a tremendous amount of paper. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a thing that plenty of crafters do, but I have more than I have enough room for, so I think better for me to just focus on using it. And looking at this again, I want the words right next to the picture. I don't want that black gap. I'm going to take it right up. That's it. What is not sticking here? Let's fix that. There we go. Okay, so that's all the circular elements, and I am at 1, 2, 3. Then look at your other large pieces. So I have this large one, and then I've also got that bit of ledger to think about maybe giving myself another place to write, although this is, I don't know what we did here that made that dented. So I could put it that way and just have a little bit more because I've got a few lines here. Put it down here and have some lines there, some lines here. I think I like that, but this doesn't count as a die cut. It's just a scrap of paper. Let's just cut the top off where it's so damaged. And we'll bring this over to the right here. Okay. Now, butterflies can fly. Reading Rainbow tells me so. And we could put this floral here. Okay. Then I think if we do that, we then just need something else that is on the bright white, and we have some options to make that happen so that we end up with a third element that's going to have the bright white around the edge. So we'll tuck this flower under here to make 4. That then brings the stickers and the die cut together. We will bring this one up here. So bring it along this line here, like all the way up. Or we could go here. Why don't we go here and pop it up? Breaking news from Glitter Girl, butterflies can fly. I know, it's shocking. I could go twice as high. Take a look, it's in a book, reading rainbow. I love that that just went into the background of his work. Right. I mean, it could be worse. It could sing Sweeney Todd. All right, so we've got.
Yeah, well, it's in a different folder, but yeah, it's a me.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, they should be the same, and they should just be in a sort of common folder.
I think we're gonna go close, but you could go far away.
Yeah, so there's a jams. It runs.
Then something else with white border. So we have this one. Run that here. I think I like it there better than here, but we could run it there. No, it's feeling, if I start here, I'm going to end up with a square of embellishments, and I really want a triangle. So let's bring it down here. What number are we on now then? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like that. Okay, we had 3 of these peach pieces. So let's use those together. And I like the idea of bringing one actually with this peach piece here so that we still just have 3 areas of peach. But maybe not the big one, maybe it's the tiniest one and it goes here over the photo. There. Yep. Oh, yeah, Nikki, a little bit of pop dotting, no problem. My pages are definitely not flat. They're just not the many layers of pop dots that I once used, because then I get into issues running out of stuff. Yep. So that was 7, this is 8, and the big one will be 9. So we're going to take those colors. See, I couldn't have done this when I was using the double-sided non-repositionable tape, could I? But now I can pick stuff up. And we can bring this one up here. Framing. Yeah. Okay. What else we got left to include? So I brought wood grain paper in, and then I have these other wood grain pieces. So let's see here. Ovals I find hardest because they're kind of not circles, not squares, not anything. But here I have lots of different shapes happening. So I like the idea of taking my shape that I find hardest to use and putting it over here with all of those. And that gives us 10. I think 10 counts as making a dent, but we're going to keep going. Then also got a little bit of potential for journaling space. So let's put 2 tags together to make them work as one. And when I've got something like this where there's a really small bit of embellishment and maybe it doesn't perfectly match everything else on the page, so this floral doesn't really jam, it's okay because I can cover that bit with something else. Now, the trick is, remember, I didn't want to go here because that's going to make it very square. And I don't particularly want to lose my washi here. I might try and pick up the washi. Yeah, I'm going to try and pick up the washi. Speaking about rules are meant to be challenged. Can I pick up the washi? So if it was a cardstock sticker, I would not be nervous at all. I would just pick it up. But washi is a little more fragile. Oh, sorry. Nikki, I remember you had a question and I did not answer it. So let's definitely do that. Okay, Nikki says, where does the October shopping list end? Because there's more paper packs than normal, unless I misunderstood. Let me go have a look. Let's pull up that list and let's figure it out for you. Okay, so see, these flowers aren't even going to show very much at all, so it's not a lot to cover them. And to stop my problems here, I'm just going to cut that shorter. Washi back in place, like that. Okay, so that takes us to 12, right? I think. Let's pull up the October shopping list, which is share sale 2B89, 2DB89. But yeah, in fact, I normally pin that in the live chat, and I didn't, so let me do that. October kit list. Okay, now, so that's there in the chat, and the shopping list ends. So there's not actually more paper packs than usual. So if you start at the beginning, we have the Pink Fresh Lovely Lane, that's Paige's stuff. We've got a wood grain, we've got some lawn fawn, and then we go into a little Halloween section. So the Halloween section would obviously be your choice as to whether you want to do Halloween stuff or not. Then there is a paper pack here from Pretty Little Studio, but it's a 6x6. So keep that in mind, that it's small papers, not big papers. Okay? Then we go through the letters and the embellishments, and including some Halloween embellishments. And then there's a Bella Boulevard collection pack, which is Bella Besties. So that's background papers. So that's always kind of, if you need more background papers, this is the color scheme I would suggest for this month. And there's usually one of those at the end. Last month it was Bo Bunny. This month it's Bella Boulevard. Yeah, quite often it's a Doodlebug set. And then that Simple Stories one is there for the whole year, because that's the collection that I use throughout the whole year from January, and that in 2025 is Simple Stories for the Record. Does that help you with where the October shopping list ends? If so, we could also talk about the Christmas shopping list. So that's linked in the description box, and I will let you pull that up, but let's make sure that Nikki is happy with that answer before I move on to December. What were we up to? 12? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah. All right. Okay, that does a work for Nikki. Now I want to get this little book in here somewhere. Now there's more greens and stuff over here, so the book could go here, but I think we'll lose that it's a book if I put it in that little window. We could put it up here in this little gap there. Does it look like a book if I put it there? Book and a butterfly? Oh, how Reading Rainbow indeed. Or we could move it down to this grouping and put it underneath here. I think that spot might actually work the best of those. So let's do that. 13. Little book. Okay, then we've got some tabs and things to go here. So, and we've got these circles and a title. Okay, we can make it work. We can make it work. So let's bring in little, I think that's too much light stuff there, and I'd rather have the colorful one. Oh no, Elaine is saying that Simple Stories All Wrapped Up is making her lose her resolve on not buying Christmas stash. And Georgia has made her Christmas decision. She's going with All Wrapped Up and then also some of the Vicky 49 Market. Yeah, so excellent. Now, could we do... There's not great amount of color contrast in this, so maybe this blue. Although I thought there was more blue on this page, but there's not a huge amount. That kind of feels like a color that doesn't quite work. Okay. And I need to work out how this title's going to fit. I think this is way too big at this point. So back you go. Georgia, when she bought her Christmas stuff, she also panic bought stash that she doesn't really need. So that's her last scrappy order of the year. Oh, you're too funny. So those who wanted the Christmas list and want to know what album I'm using, it's the very first thing on this list. So I'm putting, it's in the description box, but I'm putting it in the live chat too. Okay, so there it is. So yeah, I'm using Vicky's album. It has a really nice thick spine, which is what makes or breaks an album for me at Christmas. I work in 6x8. I have done for many years now, and it's my favorite size for Christmas. I have done other sizes. I haven't liked them as much as 6x8, and so I'm not varying it from year to year. I love my 6x8. It's where I'm staying. But a lot of 6x8 albums don't have a wide enough spine to make me happy. So, do I have them out here still? Let me see what I can get. I think I put them away because they were an easy thing to put away. Oh no, I have some here. Okay, so for example, if I show you spines of 6x8 albums, it's like Goldilocks and the 3 albums here. Oh no, don't drop stuff. Okay. Can we see these? We have the little bitty baby bear, the mama bear and the papa bear, I guess. Small, medium, and large. And this is the happy one, but most 6x8s don't come this big. This is a more standard size. So this is Project Life 6x8, which was an old find. This is too narrow for how I do Christmas, but it worked for WB. So this is his, it's not a Christmas one at the moment. This one is a theater scrapbook, but that is the Project Life. This one is a scrapbook.com. This is the width of their 6x8 albums, and it's fine. But Pages was extra big, and then I did not have to worry. Whereas this one, toward the end, I was being a little careful to make sure it would fit, but it does. So I have no hesitation in recommending any of the 6x8s that are the scrapbook.com own brand, and I've done both the red and the pink velvet, and I like them. But this one that Paige did a couple years back just made my year for how to create. So Vicky's also has a nice wide spine, and that's what I'm going with this year. Nikki says, some of it depends on how busy you are over Christmas in many ways. So let me pick this all up. Now, Journal Your Christmas which has been around now more than 20 years. What? Yeah. And the idea when I started this class was never that you needed to make something every single day. If you wanted to, that's fine because there is a prompt every day. But you don't have to make something every day. The whole idea was that you would do a few entries one year and a few entries the next year. And over time, you would build up to a family Christmas album or a personal Christmas album or a Christmas of this era of my life kind of album, whatever that tended to be. Okay? But obviously there has been a real push toward more daily documentation in December, which is absolutely fine. But I always want people to know that it is not a requirement and is not really the ethos of Journal Your Christmas. Okay? So if you start and go, either I'm really busy and I don't have time to scrapbook every day in December, you're cool. Or I'm not really busy and I'm not going to have enough stuff to write something down every day. Also cool. Yeah? So everywhere along the spectrum is actually fine. Does that make sense? And you can do the whole book every year. You can do a few pages one year and a few pages the next year. You could come back every few years and be like, this is a December that I really want to document. So I'm going to do all the things this year and then take a break. Because when you sign up for the class, then you can join in as many Christmases as you want. Because years ago, I was a terrible business person and didn't realize that I would run the class for 20 odd years. That's it. So it's $35 and you can go as many years as you want. Right. So you do get a prompt every day, and I will tell you that a lot of people who've been doing it many years, when they're taking a break or they're only making a few pages in a year, or they are just like they'll scrapbook one year and take a couple years off and then scrapbook another year, they tell me that they read the messages to just have it almost like an advent calendar of Christmas thought. It's a bit of a mindset thing. My whole ethos in making this class was to make sure that Christmas was on your terms. And at the very beginning, we talked a lot about the concept of taking back Christmas and making it magical again, no matter where you found yourself in life. Because the whole class grew out of me realizing one day and going, I don't enjoy Christmas anymore. And it used to be my most favorite thing of the year. So what has gone off the rails? And me taking 1 year on my own without a class to write things every day and organize my thoughts and be like, oh, the magic is still there. I was just being a lazy so-and-so and not seeing it and being a bit grumpy. And by taking it back and putting it back in my terms, I was able to find all that magic again and now really, really enjoy it. And that has kept me going for a long time. So a lot of people say that they just use it to craft some years and then read every day, so that they're just staying in like a Christmas mindset. And then when they want to craft, they're like, also I have all this craft information and craft videos, and that works out too. So there's videos of all the crafty stuff, and there's written bits with like thoughts on Christmas to think about. Make sense? Right. So the shopping list, however. So there was some discussion on Facebook about, do I use every single thing on the list? Well, yes and no. So in previous years, there have been way more Christmas collections out for this time of year. There are not that many this year. The industry is shrinking. We have fewer collections than we have ever had for Christmas. So in previous years, I've done things like, if your style is more traditional, maybe you'll like this collection and this thing and this thing. If you live somewhere where it's really wintry, you might want this stuff because there's more snow in the embellishment. If you live somewhere that's hot, that wouldn't really work, so don't use that one. If you have little kids and you want lots of cutesy because you're going to be really Santa heavy, then I would suggest this, right? So we've done that before, but actually there are not that many collections out this year that I felt inclined to do that sort of thing. So instead, The only really little extra I have added is at the end of the shopping list, you will notice there is a Disney Christmas collection. It's adorable. It's different than anything we've ever been able to have in the industry because it's art that's come out of copyright. If you are having a Disney park Christmas, then that's there for you. If your life is infused with Disney, then that is there for you. But for the rest of everybody, it's probably not their thing. So I just put it at the bottom of the list so you could see what's there. It's super cute, but obviously if it's not going to fit your theme, there's no sense in me showing everything with that, right? So then what I am using this year is Vicky's Mistletoe and Memory Collection from 49 and Market, Simple Stories Hard Candy Christmas, and a little bit each of the Simple Stories All Wrapped Up, which was the papers, but the embellishments from their vintage line. The papers from the vintage line were not my thing, but I really liked the embellishments for that more than I liked the embellishments for All Wrapped Up. So when you look at the shopping list, in this case, aside from the fact that there's a million packs of red red enamel dots and a million packs of green enamel dots, that's because there's not one where there's like hundreds in stock. So I've just listed a whole bunch of different ones, hoping that helps you find some that are in stock. Possibly not. So you just need some red enamel dots and some green enamel dots. I'm not fussed about what brand they are, right? And they can totally come from your stash. But other than that, I do have the whole list this year, and I will mix and match. However, it's important to realize that that is my happy zone. Some people would love to just have one collection, and then they know no matter where they put stuff from that one collection, it's always going to work. And that solves problems for them and makes it fun. To me, that does not make it fun. My fun comes from saying I have this from here and this from here and this from here and putting it all together. So I will use things from all of those collections, but there are many 6x8 paper pads there. Am I going to use every single sheet from every 6x8 paper pad that I've purchased? No, I won't. Okay, so if you need to keep it to exactly what you're going to use 100% of, then choose one and go with that. And then you could fill the gaps from your stash. If you have a huge amount of Christmas stash already, my suggestion would be that you pull out what you have, you look at the list. If there is any collection where you go, oh, wow, I wish I had that, then give that to yourself as your Christmas gift and mix it in with your stash. If nothing makes you jump for joy on the shopping list, use what you've already got and use it up, okay? And it's fine. Right, a couple other questions that have come in along the way. Nikki says, Shimelle, do you think the journal class would be complimentary to Journaling Christmas? Hold on. The journaling class is complimentary to every single thing I have ever taught and will ever teach. I love journaling. It's a huge part of what makes me a scrapbooker. It's a huge part of why I've stuck with this craft since 1998. It's because it mixes the different things that tick all of my boxes. I love photography. I love telling stories. I love playing with paper and pattern and color. All boxes ticked. But yes, the journaling stuff will help you with everything no matter what. Do I cover lots of writing tips in Journal Your Christmas as a standalone? Yes! But the journaling class will always help you with everything. It's called True Stories. You can check it out if you haven't already. Okay. Yeah. Hashtag opinions there. Now, there was another question here. Lots of talk about colors. There's a lot of red and green, but that Hard Candy Christmas has pinks and turquoises mixed in too, so that tends to be the kind of coloring that I get. Let me flip a little bit here. So red and green, that was a Vicky, but you can see the pink and the turquoise come in straight away. Sorry, I have things where I pull stuff out so that I can share it but there are certain things I can't share. So this is a couple years back. But yeah, so we go from like lots of red and green to pink and turquoise, and that collection had some blue. Yeah, and I really like that sort of amount of color so that it's definitely Christmassy, but I don't feel too blocked into just red and green. Also, I love shades of green. I really, really love, I mean, I'm a big fan of red, but I could just use so many shades of green. So that tends to be the feel that I have in my albums. Oh, the other question was about, what if you have people who don't like to be in the pictures? And does it then create an imbalance in your layouts? And you feel like, some year somebody's going to open it and be like, my mother never scrapbooked me. She only scrapbooked my sibling. You know what? Write it down. Say quite early on, so-and-so is at a stage in their life where they really don't want to be in the pictures. I'm really glad they're here. I'm going to write things that they do, but they don't want to be in the pictures, and I'm going to respect that. Put it in the journaling. Put it in. And then be really happy with whatever photo you do get permission to take and print and put in your journal. It's okay. Yeah? Because I scrapbook on the internet, I get lots of comments where people look at the pictures and they're like, sorry, I just read the comment and went, huh? So yeah, I have people in my family who don't like being in the pictures. I have a deal. We need one family Christmas photo that's all of us, and everybody agrees to that, whether they're miserable or not about it. We at least get one with everybody, and that goes in my album. Because I scrapbook on the internet, people will look at my photos and be like, they've been flat out. I've had people just say, oh, so the Adhesive Avenger is no more. And I'm like, no, it just doesn't like being in pictures. It doesn't like being on the internet. Why do you think I don't use his name? He has a pseudonym. And that's fine. Respect boundaries, people. It's totally fine. And don't go after people assuming weird stuff about their life just because somebody doesn't want to be in the pictures. But the way you do that in your story so that someday somebody looks back and goes, oh, I'm not in any of the pictures, is that you write it down and say, so-and-so didn't want to be in the pictures this year. I'm glad they're here, and I'm going to tell their stories. Okay? The words will speak for it. It's fine. We didn't always have cameras, and we still told stories. Okay? Let that sink in. Elaine says she doesn't always take pose pics. She takes more candid on the fly stuff. She wished she had more, and that's a way that she would have had them. Yeah. Sometimes you'll get people who are really, really clever at noticing when you take their photo candidly. So it's, but I do think it's worth trying. Georgia takes a traditional New Year's photo with pets and everybody. Oh, but when you lost your dog and your cat, had a bit of a breakdown and couldn't do it anymore, so that ended. You know what? Just pick a different date. Like you pick an anniversary and make sure then, or Christmas, or, do one on each of your birthdays. It's okay. You can change traditions. They can come to a natural end, like it was always with our pets, and our pets aren't here now, so move on. It's okay. You can start new things. You're allowed. I give you total permission, but you didn't need it. Okay? All right. Let's get a title on here. So we have got words that we could use. What is good? We don't have like a friend, anything with friends or anything like that. We've got a together, but these are friends, not like an item. And when he shared this picture to wish her happy birthday, his friends all messaged her and messaged him and said, "Is that your girlfriend?" So I don't really want to use together. I feel like that's not it. But we've got happy that looks like it's in the right color. So let's pull that out and see what we think. Where are you, happy? Watch. This will be the one that I've used and not marked it off. Seriously, I don't see it. Did I use happy and not mark it off on the box? Days, enjoy. Details is quite big. Moments is the wrong color. Remember is the wrong color. The good could work. Or this sweet is a nice color. Okay. Yeah, I must have used the happy. It's definitely not here. Okay, we'll mark it off. I think I'm leaning toward the sweet. What could we put with that in letter stickers or something? Should I just spell out friends, or would you use something else? Justine was laying down the law. She took a big family road trip 6 years ago, and she told her oldest, "We're not going if you're not going to be in the photos." Harsh, but fair. If you're providing the trip. Sweet life. Yeah, Nikki, I don't think it will, knowing the two of them. If I do something like friends or times or something like that, sweet is a word that they use without the connotation of like sweethearts. Yeah, so I think I can do that. So times, did I have times in here? Oh, yes, but it's in big black and white chunky letters. So let's have a look, but I think it might be better in might be better. Although this is quite heavy in the black. Oh, we could do that. Actually, it's not as bad as I imagined, because it's kind of a shorter word. Okay, well, let's mark this. So I had already used the happy. I'm using the sweet and the times. And I think I'm going to put this one back. Okay. Let's ink all those up. And figure out. So I don't really want to take it down here, because then this is really heavy, because the two pieces that are black and heavier are at the bottom. So I want to take this somewhere else. So then we can come up here. Now, I know what you're going to say. You're going to be like, but now this is floating, and you're not wrong. So we move over to get this to at least start anchored here. So we can do this, and it's floating a little bit, but not as much. Or we can make it into 2 layers. The annoying bit is like the overlap amount to make an overlap work makes the word illegible. So we have to leave a gap. I could do that much. What if we did this popped over the top? I think that's the answer. Okay, Papios. Jean said, my eldest asked me what I wanted for my birthday, and I said to be able to take some photos with all of us without him pulling too many faces. We hadn't been all together for 7 years, and that worked. That's lovely, Jean. I'm so glad that you pulled rank there, and we're like, this is it. This is what I need. I do like the advice that somebody else gave. Sorry, it's off my screen now, and I can't remember who said it, which is to challenge the ones who, like, if they're young, challenge them to do their own photos. So, and sometimes if you have some young people who are happy to be in photos, you put them in charge. So I did this at an anniversary party we went to, and all the young cousins were kind of a mix. Some wanted to be in pictures and some didn't. But then I gave WB a phone and put it on selfie camera, and I said, right, can you challenge all the kids to cram into one selfie? And the photos are hysterical, and it's such a lovely memory, and he found it hysterical. So like it's good all around. Is it the same as a lined up portrait? No. Does it need to be? No. It's fine. It's beautiful. And insects cameras definitely can be more fun. Yep, I agree with that too. Like, when we talk about respecting boundaries of adults about do you want to be in the picture, respect the boundaries of kids who don't want to be in them too. If it makes them uncomfortable, there's no sense in pushing it. Like, nobody's goal when they're scrapbooking and making and keeping family memories is to be like, yay, I made my kid feel so awkward so I could get this page. I hope that's not our goal. Let's not have a whole generation of kids who need therapy because their parents were scrapbookers. I mean, they can need therapy for other things, but hopefully it's not going to be that. Yeah, respect the boundaries. It's okay. And I tend to think, I mean, some of you will have heard me say this all the time, that I take a lot of photos and scrapbook a lot of photos of him now because there will come a day where he's like, nope, I'm done. No more. I don't want to be in front of the camera. But right now, he loves it. So I go with it. It's the same rules I have about matching clothes. He's still into it. We got some new ones this summer. We got 2 sets of matching t-shirts because he was like, no, I still really love it. Okay, then. We'll go for it. All right, so I have 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Only one little. So we're going to do... Oh, Jean says the one that she wanted the good photo from, he was just being silly and he's in his 30s. He can handle it. Fair enough. Georgia says grumpy faces on kids do crack her up. Okay. This one kind of here maybe? Tuck it behind the butterfly? Or do I just bring it down closer? Maybe it needs to fit down, but the other side. Bring this one up a little bit. It's got a little bounce there. And then a little bounce maybe to over here. Yeah? Do we think this is feeling like a dent? The really funny bit is I thought this was going to be quick to finish and I was going to need another layout to do with you. We'll do that one later. Right. What did we not use from here, and do I want to use any of it? So I think this one, you could definitely make it work, but I think we've got enough white pieces that we're going to lose a color balance here. So we'll not do that one. The blue I didn't think ended up working color-wise. So that gives me these 3. Kind of like the idea of bringing the gold one down here for the date and location. Do I want it on top or underneath? If I put it above, then I can put both date and location in that one. I stopped counting, so we're going to have to go back and count. I think this one comes over here. I know there is a little bit of the blue in these little pie chart pieces, but no, I don't think it's, and the sentiment on it wasn't like so much of a match that I was like, it has to be on here. If it had been, then I'd find a way to make it work. And I'd like to put that underneath the flower petals there. And then this little wood grain one. Just take that in a nice little line across there, not building up from it, just a line. grain shape here. There. Okay. Okay, so that's going to be the end of the die cuts. I am going to do some dots and some gold mist. Journaling is going to fit in oddly. A little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here. So going to be handwriting in all those little open spaces. Okay. Dots in what color do we think? So these are kind of that peachy color, but I don't have enough big ones. What about the orange though? Go with the orange or try to go more toward that pink in the title? See if I've got a nice match to the pink. That's too purple. I really need to put a light in this drawer. Oh, this is pink. Don't need a light to see that. This is pink. Yeah. Okay, we'll do that one. So we'll come down here. We'll build some little trios of dots. I think I might do one down here too. The other direction though. There we go, right? And then I've got gold foil, so we're doing gold mist. Ah, so discussion. Oh, because Emily, unfortunately, most of her wedding photos, her eyes were closed. Oh, I have a friend who often has her eyes closed, and we definitely have strategies. Yeah, and we always check. I'm sad that your wedding photographer didn't check. And Auntie Caffeine says, if WB gets to a point where he doesn't want to be in the pictures, will I still scrapbook? Oh, honey, I got enough pictures to scrapbook until the end of time, even if you never let me take a single one more. So yeah, we're good, we're good. Would I mourn it a little bit? Sure. But it'd be okay. He'll have to allow a few though, because when he has curtain calls, he doesn't get a say whether the audience takes his picture or not. So I guess he has to be a little bit okay. Right. So I really wanted the gold on the green because the contrast is going to be really pretty. The lighter colors, the gold isn't going to show up so much, but it is going to catch the light a little bit, so it's still really pretty. Just it's extra special on the green. So that's the Distress Spritz and Fossilized Amber. All right, so we've got dots, we got mist, and let's count the die cuts. So those 3 we started with are stickers, they don't count. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. I think I got them all. So I think 24 die cuts. Now, if you've got a minute, I'm going to show you the pages that I have already done for April, May, June, so that we can have a little end of video discussion about Just Joy, which starts next week. So I'll leave that there for a second in case you want a screen grab of your own. But let's have a look at what is going into this album already. Jean says, well done, Gold Star. Nikki was counting, but she was off by 1. Oh, that's so funny. Oh, Kelly has this particular piece of paper and plenty of die cuts. Well, there you go. There's your challenge for this weekend. All right. Tag me and Vicky if you share it online. Okay, so let's see what we have got here. And I will tell you about what is also going in with it. So April, May, and June. So straight away, I've got a double page. So we'll have a double page layout there with a whole bunch of photos. I taught that at Scrap and Learn. I've got this one which needs a little work. We did this kind of live in a lesson but didn't finish it all up. So, and then this was a pre-recorded at Scrap and Learn. So that's all my Scrap and Learn stuff was all photos from that point in the year. Then we get to things that we did on YouTube. So 2 4x6s here with friends who get to terrain together again. 2 3x4s, a little place that we found near the new dance studio. A museum Monday. A starlight layout. The West End Flea Market. One with some fan photos, which are lovely to have. And then a divided page protector to go with it. This was from Old Stash class, so this goes in here. So does this one. We've got some stuff with the 5K that he decided to run. We've got in May includes the trip back home to Kansas City. So we've got a layout about barbecue. These are on YouTube. One with family photos. The trip to Marceline. This was a museum day before we went home. Oh, these aren't quite in the right order yet, but that's okay, because this is still Marceline. We've got some friends at stage door kind of layout. We've got, that needs to go back with the other one about the race. Story about finishing his primary school exams. See, these are not in the right order. That's Marceline too. Recording studio day. And his leavers photos. And the very end of June is the very end of Starlight Express. So we have 2 pages there. Those 2 do have the journaling all in place. Yeah. Okay, so this is where I'm starting. And that bit of the process, because when I'm doing these videos with you here, that part forms, I'm always using current photos, and that then helps form a skeleton to everything else that's going to go in. Then I go to my photo library and look at everything else that I want to include and what there is going to be a big story, so it needs a whole 12 by 12. What's a medium-sized story, so maybe it needs a pocket page, but it's going to be its own pocket page. And what needs just 1 or 2 pockets, and so it can be mixed in with other stories. So small stories, medium stories, large stories, right? And from there, I have all the order of where they're going, what I'm making. So I have this little list for you. Let me pull it up. So in April, I have pages that include pink trees, wisteria, Lego, a birthday, Easter, and the ice bucket challenge. So That will all be included in April stuff. May stuff includes a pirate ship, school friends, indoor cricket, fan art, and the rest of my photos to see family back home. And then June, we've got a story about a heat wave, a lemonade stand, making a movie, and the end of the roller skating train era. So more about the end of Starlight Express. And those topics are going to then create the whole story of April, May, June 2025. And you'll get all of those stories in Just Joy. Yeah. Now, the whole concept of Just Joy, maybe I can just talk to you a little bit now. Wrong button. Here's my potato camera button. So the whole concept of Just Joy is that you're going to have all of those projects from April, May, and June, but the thing that they're going to have in common is that I'm sharing all different things about scrapbooking that bring me great creative joy, the sorts of things that make me go like this at my desk, which is what keeps me in this hobby and what has made this hobby just be very fulfilling and enriching to me for years and years and years. So that's not all one thing. So some things give me joy about composition. There are ways that I can put stuff on the page that makes my brain very happy that things fit in a certain sort of way. So compositions that bring me great joy is one thing that we're going to cover. There are photo tips, and like both in taking photos and in choosing how to print them, how to arrange them, how to group them, stuff that's all photo based that gives me great joy about this hobby. There are journaling things that make me really happy and bring me great joy about this hobby, and I will break them down in case writing is not something that brings you joy on the average day. Don't panic. I'm going to explain to you with great enthusiasm why they make me really happy. And there are things like techniques and embellishment and color schemes that give me great joy. I'm really excited because I go through here and for all of the photos I have of him in this red and blue and silver costume, I have not used one of my very, very favorite color combinations that makes me so happy, which is like white and pale blue and shots of red. And I'm going to do that with his costume photos, and I'm looking forward to things like that so much. Like there's different combinations that make me go, oh, I want to spring out of bed and scrapbook today. And that's what you're getting in this class. And I'm like everything on my list, I'm so excited about all of it because it's all really joyful. So the link is in the description box. It starts in the middle of next week. It includes 20 edited lesson videos. So those, if you only watch the live streams, you may think that I just ramble on and on forever because that's what we do here on live streams, but it's not what I do in my classes. Before I did all this, I was a school teacher and I know how to plan a lesson. So my classes I've always sketched out a curriculum. I know what my end goals are, and each lesson has a goal in itself. And so everything within that lesson is then very on topic. And we're going to go through a journey, and I'm going to show you how I make the thing, why this works, why that works, why it's joyful. Yeah. So you get 20 of those plus 6 live streams so that you can be here to ask me questions. And if you can't make a particular live stream, there's a place where you'll be able to ask questions so that I can answer them in the video as if you were live, and then you can come back in case I need to go back to anything. I'm happy to do that. So that's the balance. You get 20 pre-records and 6 live streams, and we start on the 17th of September. Yeah? So that's probably enough potato cam. Any other questions? Oh no. Can you still hear me? I just got an error message from YouTube, so I'm not sure. So if you have any other questions, please do let me know. But I would love to see you in class. I'm going to do a very dangerous thing. I'm going to refresh this window to see if the error is there. Let's see. Hopefully that will not cut me off. Okay, I don't think it has cut us off. Yeah, we're good. Okay, Emily says, does it go for a month? A little more than a month? Yeah. So I think there'll be one tiny, like, there won't be another full long class between between this and Journal Your Christmas, but there might be like one of those, it's a day when we do lots of stuff in between. So that in November, but otherwise, this will be my last long class before we go into Christmas. Yeah? So about 6 weeks. The reason I don't want to put an exact date is that that I'm waiting on a schedule from someone else. But roughly 6 weeks. And Amity says, you'll let us know in advance when the lives are. Yes, so I won't let you know today, but as I am able to schedule them, yes, it won't be like, oh, hi, I'm live now. It's not that. It's not a surprise live. You will know. Yep. Anything else? And don't worry, we cover, yeah, Amity's pointing out that there's lots in this stack that don't have journaling. We cover all that too. So don't worry. You'll see it all come together. Georgian is back at uni in October, so needs to know if she can fit it in. So it will go into October, yes. But you know what? I'm like, it's never going to be so time intensive that you can't just have a 30-minute break to watch a lesson and then, it's okay. We'll cheer you on through uni. It could be, I've finished my work and now I can have a half-hour lesson. Yeah. There we go. I think that's probably it then. Right, so you can find the link for that in the description box. I would love to see you in class. I think that's everything for now. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm glad that you're here, and I hope to see you again. I'll be live again Monday at 1:30, right here, same place, so you can come back. Bye! You can give it a thumbs up if you want. That's super cool. But even cooler if you just take a class. Love it.